If you don't know by now, Marvel is going to drop a new mobile game called Mystic Mayhem. Man, this game looks incredible. I love the look of the game, and of course, can't wait to get my hands on it. But again, today we're gonna go over some gameplay, training, or tutorial, whichever word they want to use, right? But we're gonna go into the game, see what it looks like at the very beginning, and see what's what and how it's looking. Before all of that, what's up, guys? Master Styles here. Welcome you back to Inside Gaming, and today, of course, we're gonna dive into the universe of Marvel. Marvel's one of my favorite universes. DC, man. But again, I love me some Marvel. So again, if you have a Marvel mobile game, I'm on it. So let's just get into it here. All right, so the action starts straight in there. Wanda, Hulk, and Moon Knight. Crazy team. Range, DPSer, and of course, we already know support for Moon Knight. But again, this how the game is. It seems like you cannot use certain, I'll call it a big skill, whatever they call it yet. I'm not sure. This is just me watching the gameplay, and it seems like you need to have a set amount of mana or whatever they want to call it to use certain skills. Of course, the clap is clapping. Love to see that. Moon Knight here with Hulk. But again, when you're running 3 units, the way that I see it is that you are going to need a tank that does damage, and Hulk might be your guy. Hopefully they give us Hulk at the beginning of the game, which would be nice. Not gonna lie, thought this was low-key. Kind of looked like him, but again, it is Nightmare. And as we play through the training / tutorial, this is the best way to put it, get to use Wanda and of course Moon Knight. But I don't think they'll give you all 3 of these characters. You're probably only gonna get one that you'll get to use until you're able to summon for them. But let's see what Nightmare does. Transform, of course. And I'm a little concerned that after a while we get to the end game part of all of this, and what does that look like? Because again, once you get to all of what they have in store, we'll get to a point where new characters, new mechanics and stuff like that. Will it ever get to a point where we can tap into the actual MCU story? Right, it is a Marvel game. Normally a Marvel game correlates with all of that, but because we're in the dream realm, right, unless Marvel go down that path. But anyways, back to the gameplay. So again, as you can see here, you can tack one arm, which isn't bad. It's a boss. You can focus on one side, and then you can utilize the team. I'm still not a fan of this 3 units. 4 would be ideal, because later on in the video you'll see where the team splits off, and then it's kind of odd because you have to put 1 in this section and then 2 in the section. 4 would be ideal, but there we go. It should be over here. Not bad. The combat looks interesting. It's more so turn-based but live action, which is interesting, right? And of course, the other question would be, is there auto battle? Because again, as we're playing through all of this, we'll eventually get to a point where it may be auto battle. But again, key person here that just entered the building is Sleepwalker. A lot of these characters are tied into the Doctor Strange comics and all of that. So again, added new heroes or added new villains. How is that going to tie into the game? Because again, that's what's going to ultimately keep the longevity of this game going on. So let's see what else we got here. Obviously, Hulk plays into all of this, and Misty Knight, and seeing Misty Knight in a game, lit. Let's get to it. Want to see some more gameplay? Obviously, here we got story. You have multiple different modes there. So when I hop into the story, it is a tutorial where you get trapped into them showing what is what. So you just gotta go along with that. So Scarlet Witch, probably gonna be a paywall character. She's probably gonna be OP. But again, we'll have Misty Knight, Sleepwalker, and Hulk on a team. But again, when it comes to building out a team, I think the tough part is just gonna figure out what 3 units to use. So here you have multiple waves, which is dope. I love that. And building out your team here. You can do placement. But I feel like once the battle starts, they're still moving, which is great. I love that. That's what drew me in when I seen this. A little bit of gameplay that I saw, it was more like, okay, you can have units that are able to move, and it's not like turn-based. It is turn-based in a sense, because there are moments where they are pausing. So let's see. I love that. Hulk jumps in. That's part of it, passive. We'll see that later on. Misty is going to do some big damage here with a little bit of freeze. Maybe there's potential debuffs. Love that, right? Maybe some bleeds. Maybe some frozen. Okay. He does have the AoE damage there. He jumps in. So I love that. And his ultimate, well, that wasn't an ultimate, that was a skill, right? Again, the labeling for what is what, I'm still getting the hang of it. So here it should be over. Hulk clap, right? Or whatever they want to call it. The jump. I wish he would have jumped where they are, right? Oh, he does. He does do that. So again, dope. I'm ready. I'm so excited for this. I can't wait to like get my hands on this game. This is it looks like a big move, right? But technically it's actually a heal, right? It does damage, but it heals him. It doesn't heal the team. And of course, Misty is like, I got big moves too. I'll hit you with that, hold all of that, right? And then it's like, wait, everybody got big moves. Let me show you mine too, right? Sleepwalker, like, let me shut it down. That move there is crazy. So again, I don't think they're gonna give you all three of them. If they do, that'll be dope. Because Sleepwalker's nuts. He does some crazy damage. But again, we'll see that. He's the type of guy that close out the rounds, but easy there. And one of the things is that we'll continue through the story part, but at least they got a decent amount of game modes that will be there during launch, which is going to be dope. We'll play through all of that. Of course, I'm going to make more content about this. And for me, I love to see this. The 3 people or 3 heroes is throwing me off, man. 4 would be beautiful, right? A 5 will be optimal, of course. If you want to run 6, that'd be crazy. But again, we'll see what we got going on. It seems like you can pick who you want to target in the beginning. But the thing is, would he jump to the back? No, he doesn't. He has it passive. We'll see it later on in the video. But again, big freeze. It doesn't freeze though. I wish it did freeze. That would be dope. So she have a freeze attack and a fire attack. But again, this is a single enemy. Well, single wave. I'm about to say enemy. Single wave, which is nothing too crazy. No boss within it. It's just a little minions. That's just the way to put it. But again, one thing I'm also concerned is the damage you're taking, right? The damage you're taking. Oh wow, there's spawns too. So the damage you're taking could be a way that you might lose. I mean, I can see the struggle within that, where you get into a space where it's too difficult because you're taking too much damage, right? Because these people in the back, I don't think they're as tanky as Hulk in the front. Of course, there you go, Sleepwalker sniping. Nice, love to see that. Of course, we'll do some leveling here, of course, at some point. Leveling may correlate to your actual level of whatever they want to call it. You know, some games they call it commanders. They may call it whatever they want to call it, but your avatar, this is the best way to put it, are going to have a level cap. You know, heroes can only level up to that point. As you can see, it takes a lot of tactical report that they use. But what is the XP for? So again, as you play through the game, we'll learn all of this. And of course, like I said, I can't wait, and I will cover all of this. Man, I'm excited. So let's keep going. What else we got? With a shop converter in multiple modes here that we have not yet to unlock. And of course, there's a lot of resources that we got here that we can potentially get. And hero, go to the left, hero, which is dope. You can see all of it. So again, it seems like every hero has a passive and a couple of skills that they have on board. So again, I love that. Again, I can't wait. Just let me in, right? I know if you live in the Philippines or you have access to get to the Philippines, you can start that game today. You know, there's a soft launch only in the Philippines. You can definitely play the game. And for me, I'm like, I tried all that I could to go play the game, but they won't let me in. So I can't do nothing about that. I have to wait until global launch, and then we'll cover the game day one, and we'll get some content out there. Of course, there's the playable characters here. I think they're gonna give you Psylocke based off of the pre-registration, and we'll continue into the story here. I think we're gonna get to use a different hero here, right, in this particular moment. And this is what I was talking about, where I wish it was 4, right? See, you put Hulk on the bottom, right, and they put 2 at the top, right? It would have been nice if it was 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom. So let's see how they do here. Again, Hulk is tanky enough to take on the people at the bottom, right? But eventually you'll get to a point where fighting this same Sage setup is going to be difficult, because the heroes at the top are not going to be able to take on the DPS of the enemies at the top. So that means that you're going to have to look at the enemies to see, hey, which one of these enemies are going to be able to do a lot of DPS. But I like that cross range attack there, which is pretty dope, right? Because it's like, hey, let me help him out, and then eventually he can come back up here and join the fray or run back to come do the fight. So there you go. That was actually pretty smart. So here, I'm gonna clap. He's gonna, whoa, wow. that's Hulk for you. This is why I love the Hulk. He's like, nah, I'm not gonna run around this obstruction. I'm just gonna jump over it. I wonder if anybody else could do that, but that was dope. And of course, you know, the closes here. Sleepwalkers is gonna shut it down. But again, Hulk, strongest there is, but we're gonna keep going. What else we got going on? Man, this game is just, man, I can't express it enough. I just can't express the wait to see what is what. We got Doppelganger, right? Some training session. He looked like Spider-Man, but he's not really Spider-Man. He's a variant. That's just the best way to put it, because it correlates to, if you know Marvel, you know Marvel, right? This is another form of Spider-Man, right? We can use variant. I think they could play off of that in this game, right? You can make a hero into certain, you know, play around with that. So he does this swipe, okay, defense down. That there is key. And this is where I think the strategy would come in with the cards, right? Well, big skill. That's just the best way to play. I was gonna say ultimate, a big skill here, right? And they can heal themselves. That is scary, right? So he reduces their defense, and then he cracks his support card here. I'm just going off of what I can see, right? Because it increases the attack speed, and then he does his big skill. What would have been better is if he reduces the defense and then crack his attack speed increase, and then do his big skill, the ultimate. He'll do way more damage there. But again, maybe you don't have all of those available. So what else we got going on? That was unlocking story there. We'll go back and see. You can pick who you want to display. So again, some additional rewards. Of course, we take all the rewards we can get, and hopefully they have gift codes. That's a big one. So they better have some gift codes. Don't play around with us. We need all the gift codes we can get. We need all the free heroes we can get. We need all the resources we can get. We'll take everything you got, throw them all the way. So for those that didn't pre-register, do it so we can get all those additional rewards. Mr. Negative, never even heard of this guy. Maybe he's a villain, maybe he's a hero. It seems like he's a villain, so let's work up on him. And they give us Doppelganger here as an option. I don't know if those are the heroes we can access, but again, if we're starting out like this, I'm already happy I have Hulk with the long hair, right? I'm gonna keep saying that. And by the way, you already know Hulk is one of the boys already. Off rip, he made one of the boys. This Doppelganger guy, maybe, but we'll put Hulk up front because he does have self-healing, right? Which is great. And he is a defender, so we'll put him up front. Dreamwalker. I keep calling him Sleepwalker. Sleepwalker is that guy. Misty has a range, but again, here, I'm going to try to put 4 heroes in there. It's only 3, bro. Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. It's only 3. It would have been 5 if it was 4. I would have been okay with that. Maybe down the road, We'll get to a point where we can use 4, right? And then we'll be happy about that, right? But again, for those that know, if you rock with me, an awakening could bring you to 4 heroes, right? Anyways, but let's get back to it. We ain't gonna talk too much about that. And I think this is wave based, right? That's the best way to put it. He gonna run, yeah, it's wave based. Hulk gonna jump. He gonna jump again? No, he's close. He's too close. If they were on the other side of the wall, he would just jump, right? That's based off of his passive. But I'm interested to see what the other hero. Whoa, damn, cooking, huh? Doppelganger, what you got? Big damage heal. I love that. That's so beautiful. I wish you would have healed the team though. That would be fire. Increases skill damage and then do the big damage. Come on, man. What you doing? You gotta combo out, man. We gotta do some combos, man. Wait. I was looking at now that it just hit me. I was looking at the character list. Where's Cap? No Cap? No Captain America? Not like I'm a fan, but just saying. But I think that's all we have for today. But it is what it is, man. If you made it this far in the video, the word of the day is wow. Because this game is going to be crazy. I can't wait to cover it. If you're new around here, make sure there's a subscribe button. For those that are with me, let me know how you feel about the video. Without further ado, I want to thank you for watching.